Alright, so we're back with another 6th edition game. We got a rare occurrence up here in Washington where it's actually sunny, so we're outside. We're going to do a barbecue and have some fun playing in the backyard. But we got Necrons versus Space Wolves, and the Space Wolves have a small contingent of IG with them. Right now, Necrons are going first. We're playing the Emperor's Will, which is like the your base, my base mission, and we have Dawn of War set up, and we rolled Night Fight turn 1. So that's what we got. My army right now is I have a Monolith, 2 Annihilation Barges as my heavy support choices. My troop choices, I have 4 10-man warrior squads. 2 of them have Ghost Arcs, so there's 2 of them embarked in each of those Ghost Arcs right there. And then I have a squad of Scarabs way down there. And the 2 big green patches are forests. We rolled our Mysterious Force, and both of them are Ironbarks, so they give us 3+ cover save in the forest. Pretty crazy. But that is it on my deployment. Then I also have 2 squads of 5 Destroyers in reserve. And I have a Destroyer Lord who's going to coming in with 10 Death Marks deep striking. All these are deep striking. So that'll be kind of fun. And he's my Warlord, and he rolled the Feel No Pain within 3 inches of objective. So that's kind of cool. And the Space Wolves, they have a Long Fang squad with a Wolf Guard and Terminator armor front to make a whole bunch of 2-up cover saves. Or 2-up armor saves, rather. A Lehman Russ with heavy bolters all the way around. 4 twin-linked las cannon Razorbacks. The front right one there has a Rune Priest in it, with the psychic power that gives all of them a 5 cover save. And then another missile launcher Long Fang squad. That one has a Wolf Guard with a missile launcher, Cyclone missile launcher on it. So the Terminator is actually in the back in that one. And then we have a squad of Penal Legion allied in here. They have scout moved forward. They have the Knife Fighters. No, not Knife Fighter. The anyway, the second one that gives them rending and fleet and everything.
Not rending.
Not rending. Furious Charge. Furious Charge and fleet. There we go. That's what they got. A command squad with 4 Ratlings. It's got 4 snipers, so it's just a command squad with 4 Ratlings, basically. And then a las cannon Long Fang squad up there with another Rune Priest with Living Lightning and what does he have?
Jaws of the Wolf.
Jaws of the World Wolf. Against Necrons. That'll be entertaining. Anyway, so that's what we got. We're gonna see if the Space Wolves can seize the initiative. Right now, Necrons are going first. So here we go, and it's a 4. So no. So Necrons will be back turn 1, and we'll see what happens. All right. So the end of Necron turn 1. It was a decent turn, I guess, for night fighting. It wasn't too bad. I took 1 whole point off with a Gauze weapon on the Lehman Russ, so it's down to 2. I took a whole point off that Razorback with Rune Priest inside, and also shook it, so it can't shoot this turn. And I killed 3 missile launchers out of that Long Fang squad with the big blast from the Monolith. That was actually all the way in the shooting phase, but night fight, so actually I was pretty happy with it. And then he scouted his guys right at me, so I took the bait and moved my Scarabs up, and then rolled a 6 for my assault move. Needed a 7 to make it, but anyway, it is what it is. It was pretty fun. So we'll be back with Space Wolves / IG turn 1 and 3 happens. Alright, so the end of Space Wolves turn 1, and we have some really brave IG right here. The Penal Legion moved forward and rapid fired into my Scarabs. I ended up losing 2 Scarabs there. Snipers fired in 2 and did nothing at all. They were really bad. I took a bunch of Long Fang fire into this, and it did nothing at all, just bounced off the armor 13. Much more luck on the Monolith, though. It is down 2 whole points, and also is stunned. No, shaken. It's shaken. So it can't fire its big blast this turn, but it can still shoot its side guns, and that front left side gun is blown off with the random weapon destroyed. This squad, no, not that squad, I lied. This squad lost a guy. I had a 2-up cover save because of night fighting and everything, and still rolled a 1, and then he failed to get back up, so my front guy there got blown away. And then this Ghost Arc took a glance and lost a whole point. So that's right now, and I forgot to mention at the beginning of the game, he has a Lone Wolf there. He was hiding in the middle of all those tanks. He moved forward and ran. He's got a Chain Fist and a Storm Shield. He's got no arms, but they are really imaginary and awesome. So he's trying to hunt down my Monolith. But we'll be back at the end of my turn and see if I can get some reserves in here. Alright, so it was a super awesome turn for the Necrons. The Space Wolves just couldn't roll a dice to save their life this time. So they had a 5-up cover save from that Rune Priest over there because of psychic power, and I just annihilated the front line of tanks. This Ghost Arc with the warriors inside flew up and killed the Lehman Russ off. This Annihilation Barge way back here in the back fired in and wrecked that center Razorback there. And then this Annihilation Barge way back here fired in and blew the gun off. That one's actually not wrecked, but it's down to 1 whole point, and the gun is blown off the left-hand Annihilation Barge. Destroyers came in behind that squad firing and only managed to kill, I killed the squad leader and 1 Long Fang there. So there's still 4 missiles and a Terminator, so that's pretty bad. I forgot about the Ironbark Force, so the 3 cover saves, my AP3 meant nothing at all. But it didn't go too bad. I killed a missile launcher. Over on this side, my destroyers came in right here, and I fired into that squad of Long Fangs, killed down to the Terminator and the Sergeant, and they broke and ran, but because they have no fear, they'll rally anyway. But at least they broke. This Ghost Arc moved up and fired into the Penal Legion. They broke and ran, but they'll still be able to rally because they're above 25%. And what are they called? Death Marks and Destroyer Lord came in over there, fired into the Las Cannon Long Fangs with the Rune Priest. They marked that unit, so they were wounding them on 2s. I killed one Las Cannon and the Sergeant, and the Rune Priest and Terminator armor just soaked the rest of the wounds. He was crazy. But they pinned. They rolled an 11 for their leadership because I have sniper rifles, so that was awesome for me and terrible for them. But and then my Scarabs moved up and assaulted the command squad, the IG command squad, all the snipers, and ate them alive. I did lose one base in the combat because his commander went crazy and killed off an entire Scarab base. But it was great for me because they got eaten, and now I can assault the Longfangs up there who are pinned. So we'll be back with Space Wolves turn 3 and see if they can rally from this. I'll lose my monolith this turn for sure, but we'll see what more damage they can do. Alright, so the end of Space Wolves turn 2, and it was much more devastating than I was expecting it to be. They wrecked this monolith. These guys came out, bailed out 2 Melta guns, because they have a Wolf Guard now, the Kami Melta, fired in, and only managed to take a hull point off. Did nothing at all. Well, they mobilized it, but nothing of note. So these missile launchers over here decided to show them how it's done, fired in, and glanced it to death. Removed all of its hull points, so it's a steaming wreck there in the middle of the board. The rear Razorback on the right there that still has gun left fired in and exploded this Ghost Arc, killing one of my warriors who did not get back up. The left one fired, I think, into the... I fired into this thing, it didn't do anything at all, so that Ghost Arc's still fine. And then where all the damage came was in the assault phase. I did kill the Terminator with that Longfang Sergeant who's still left alive, but the Longfang Sergeant is holding up my destroyers and killed one in close combat. And I also lost one in the shooting phase from the missile launcher, because there was a Cyclone rack on the Terminator. So I'm down to 2 destroyers there, and I'm stuck in combat. The Guardsmen rallied and snap-fired and put a wound into my Scarabs. And then in the back corner over here, I got assaulted by the Grey Hunters who got blown out of that wrecked Rhino last turn. They assaulted in and only managed to kill 1 destroyer and locked me in combat, and he did not come back either. So we're stuck in combat there, and we're going into Necron. Oh, no, wait, I bail. I lied. The Lone Wolf, who was going to assault the monolith and wreck it, it got wrecked beforehand. So he made a successful charge against these warriors. Excuse me. He killed 2 of them in combat. They broke and ran, so they're going to try and rally this turn, but 2 of them did die, and they couldn't move it back because I broke in combat. So now we're back with Necron turn 3 and see what happens. Alright, so a lot less happened for the Necron turn this time. It was just a lot of repositioning. These warriors who were falling back rallied, but then once you rally, you can only snap fire. So I snap fired into him and did nothing. Then both Annihilation Barges fired into him, and I did manage to get 1 wound through on him, so he has 1 wound left. These guys moved back and are on the objective, but they also shot into him and did nothing at all. These guys are pushing forward, shot into that squad of Long Fangs, and managed 1 wound. I hit with like every single shot. That was going to be awesome, and then only wounded with 1. They were terrible. The combat in the back, I lost 2 destroyers and killed 1 Grey Hunter, but we're still locked in combat. I made my leadership, so we're standing there. Over here, absolutely nothing happened. He did 1 wound, I saved it. I did 1 wound, he saved it. Scarabs assaulted out of cover. I actually lost 2 of my Scarab bases, 2 whole Scarab bases to Guardsmen between their Overwatch and their close combat. It was terrible. But killed them all down to the Sergeant, made his leadership, and we're standing there, which is really good for me because they can't get shot to death. This Ghost Arc was all the way over here, moved its 12 inches, and then went flat out 6 inches, so it's way over there, threatening that objective now. My Destroyer Lords separated off from my Death Marks. They fired into the squad, ended up killing 2 of the las cannons because he took lookout stirs on his Rune Priest. I then assaulted. He passed his Mind Shackle Scarab check. I challenged him in combat first of all, but he passed his Mind Shackle Scarabs, and then he failed to wound me. He had a Force Axe, so he was Strength 5 and AP 2 against my 2-up armor save. I actually was kind of afraid because he could Force Weapon me. But he failed to wound, so I cut him down in combat with my War Scythe and won combat there, and they stood, so we're locked in combat there. So basically the whole board is either in combat or about to be in combat. So we're back with Space Wolves turn 3 and see how much they can destroy. Alright, so the end of Space Wolves turn 3, and it was a very close combat round. The only thing I think that happened from shooting, the only thing that happened from shooting at all is this Annihilation Barge here took a penetrating hit, so its shields are down, and it got stunned from that las cannon Razorback right there. And then everything else that went down, all went down in close combat. I got assaulted again here by this Lone Wolf, and he killed 2 of my guys, but I stood in combat and 1 reanimated, so they lost a warrior there. This squad here, I don't even know why I did it. I was concentrating across the board here, and there's a stupid squad of Grey Hunters on the other side of my monolith. Moved up and got a 9-inch charge and just annihilated all my warriors. I ran down in combat, failed my leadership, and then he caught me, so they're all dead. Back in the back, he finished off my destroyers finally because he's a rune priest in that unit. And he has a frost axe. Those things hurt. Being a strength 5 with a stupid power weapon really hurts toughness 5 destroyers. Over here, my scarabs finished off that guardsman, but he went down swinging, did another wound to one of my scarabs. That combat continues. I cannot kill a freaking lone sergeant in combat. We've stood there for about 4 turns, nobody getting the wound, or 4 combats. And that was it. Oh, I killed a single long fang up on the hill with my destroyer lord. Blew a rune priest to pieces, but I can't kill 2 long fangs. But anyway, that's where we're at. We'll be back with Necron's turn 4, and I'll see if I can't defend my objective and hold on to his. That's why you game at your house, right there. That's what it's all about. Hold up the mug. That's where it's at. Good old Warhammer. That's how we play it. Alright, so now that the festivities are over, we're back, and not a very eventful turn for the Necrons. It's turn 4. The barge here, or the Ark rather, unloaded its troops over there, and it moved and went flat out over here. The combat up on the hill went terrible. I hit him once even with preferred enemy, and then I rolled double 1s to wound, because I get to reroll 1s with preferred enemy, and I rolled a 1 again, so it was terrible. But I'm still locked in with that last cannon there. Over here, I sent in my scarabs to help out the destroyers, and we're finally freed up. Killed that 1 sergeant after like 5 rounds of combat. And I killed a single guy out of this Grey Hunter squad that's moving up on me. My my warriors moved back and fired through this little gap here, and took out the front guy, which happened to be a melt-a-gun, so it's kind of handy. And then my 2 barges back here managed to wreck this Razorback that was coming at us. And that is all. Oh no, I lost a single warrior here. I did nothing. He killed 2. Made my leadership 1, stood back up, so I lost a single warrior. So we're back with turn 4 for the Space Wolves and see what they can do. Alright, so the end of Space Wolves turn 4, and they are moving up on my objective over here, trying to contest it. Say I lost 2 of my warriors in this squad, so we're down to about 7 there. The left-hand barge is down to 1 hull point and is shaken again. Well, it's shaken this time, it's done last time, so it can only move. Well, I got a snapfire. But anyway, he got shot. Lost another warrior here, and he failed to reanimate, and I lost a scarab, and that was about it from shooting, because we're down to that little fire base over there, and they're basically moving up on me. But then the big news is the Destroyer Lord is finally free. Too late in the game to matter, but he's finally free. And he didn't even kill the guy. Mind Shackle Scarabs killed him. I couldn't do it with a War Scythe, but he did it with the last cannon. It's pretty great. So we'll be back with Necron turn 5 and see what happens. Alright, so the end of Necron turn 5, and I really just kind of repositioned. I moved up and ran onto this objective, because I rolled bad for my terrain roll, but we ran and got around it. Fired all of these guys, that one was done, so it only snap fired into this squad item in the building, and did nothing at all. But my destroyers, who were finally free, flew up and shot and only killed 1, with, only got 6 shots, but only managed to kill 1 guy. That's kind of funny. And then this, I finally beat him down. I can't believe they did it, but they killed a lone wolf in close combat. Because reanimation protocols rock and Necron don't die. But, so they finally broke free of that guy, but I think it's too far from getting that objective in 2 turns. Well, maybe it goes to 7. But, other than that, we just kind of moved up. The Ghost Ark just kind of went flat out and moved up over there. The Destroyer Lord and 2 remaining Scarabs moved up, and the Death Marks are on the march in the back, trying to just get over into firing range. Some guys over there. And then I sheared up onto that objective, hiding behind that wall over there. So that's where we're at in Necron turn 5. We're going to see if the Space Wolves can't try and take one from us. Alright, so the end of Space Wolves turn 5, did some damage with their shooting, and didn't quite take my objective, but we'll get to that. First of all, the squad moved up here, the squad with the Rune Priest in it, and shot my Scarabs down to nothing. The Long Fangs tried to shoot my Destroyer Lord, and he's a 2-up armor save, so he took like a champ, but he's my Warlord, so he's worth a victory point. These guys, where'd they go? There they are. Those guys fired in with, they threw a crack grenade, because you can throw a crack grenade, it's crazy. And I lost my shielding and wrecked my stupid Annihilation Barge. That's silly, but it happened. So those guys moved up there, wrecked that. These 2 came over here, bailed their guys out, shot these warriors down. I only have 4 left, but still on the objective, so we're contesting that objective there. And I think that's all that happened this turn. That squad with the Rune Priest tried to assault my Destroyer Lord, because I had attached him to the Scarabs. I don't know if he could actually join the Scarabs or not. I thought it'd be silly, so I did it. But anyway, so they tried to assault my Destroyer Lord, but as you can see, it's a huge gap, and they didn't make the charge. So we're gonna roll, see if the game ends, and see what happens. That's a 6. I need that tank. You can't see it, but so we're going on turn 6, and we'll see what happens. All right, so the end of Necron turn 6, and I just kind of advanced towards his little fire base back there. Fired my Arc and my Death Marks and everything into that squad of Grey Hunters who was back there with that Rune Priest. I killed 2 of the Grey Hunters off, and then I charged in and actually took a wound jumping out of dangerous terrain on my Destroyer Lord, who's a 2-up armor save, because you get armor saves against terrain now, so I rolled a 1 followed by 1. It was terrible. But anyway, jumped in there, challenged his Rune Priest, who has a Force Axe. So he's Strength 5, AP 2, but he's Initiative 1. And my Destroyer Lord's Initiative 2, so I cut him down in close combat before he could kill me. And so I killed that guy, won the challenge, and then they stood in combat. Over here, it was dumb. See how far these destroyers moved all the way from back there over here? That's not because I'm cheating, that's because they are dumb. I jumped into this terrain so I get a nice cover save against like all these missile launchers and everything. And one guy died, then they failed their leadership check for losing 25%, and now they're running towards my table edge. So it was ridiculous, just ridiculous. But on their way back, they did manage to gun down a few guys in this Grey Hunter squad that were here. And then some combined fire from these guys over here finished them off, so that Grey Hunter squad's dead. This squad of warriors is trying to hide behind this wall and still be within 3 inches of that objective from all these guys. See if they can't move forward and catch that tail end of that guy there to kill him in close combat and tie this thing up. But that's where we're at now. We'll be back with Space Wolves turn 6 and see what they can do. Alright, so the end of Space Wolves turn 6, and he did make the charge on my warriors, but I somehow with 4 warriors stood in combat, so we're still contesting that objective. These guys just moved up onto the objective. Over here, he got revenge. I shot through there with my Annihilation Barge and exploded a Razorback. The other Razorback moved over and exploded my Annihilation Barge. So it was a good trade right there. My destroyers got destroyed by his missiles over there in the cover. Just shot the crap out of them. And I think that was about it. I killed a single guy in close combat back there with my Destroyer Lord versus his guys on the table edge. And that's all that happened. We already rolled the dice. We didn't get on camera, but it was a 6, so we're going on turn 7. And we'll see if he can't finish this off right here, and then we'll go to victory points. Alright, so we just played all of turn 7 because there wasn't much left on the board at all. All I did on my turn 7 was move up my squad of Death Marks back there and fly up my Ghost Arc, shoot into the Long Fangs, and kill them bound to 2 missiles. That's all that's left. They passed their leadership and stood. And then I took this little 5-man warrior squad that used to be right there, and I assaulted into that squad of Grey Hunters who was in combat with my other guys, hoping to somehow lend a hand to Necrons in combat, but you know, that never works out well. So as you can see, there are no more Necron warriors left. So they all got eaten. I actually only lost the 2 that were already engaged in combat and then failed to do any wounds, rolled a 9 for my leadership, and got ran down with everybody. That was pretty awesome. So he consolidated onto his, or onto my objective actually. And then on his turn, he just kind of stood around his objective, moved that Razorback over, and one-shotted my Ghost Arc. So that one Razorback, this entire game we've been shooting at vehicles. In 2 turns, he's exploded 2 armor, 13 vehicles with 2 shots. It was crazy. And that's about it. The 2 Long Fangs back there took some pop shots into my Death Marks, but didn't do anything. And the lone Destroyer Lord there is crazy and retarded. He can never kill a single guy in close combat, but every time Mind Shackle Scarabs will kill him. So the Grey Hunter went down to Mind Shackle Scarabs again with the War Scythe that's useless. And I have my objective over there. Well, I have his objective with Warriors. My objective is held with Grey Hunters, so it was a your-based, my-based objective game, and we decided to swap objectives. So it was a good time. We'll be back in just a minute after we calculate up the extra victory points and see who won. Alright, so we calculated up, and it's a 4-6 victory for the Necrons. So I got that objective back there for 3. They're also in his deployment zone, so Linebreaker, and I killed his Rune Priest for Warlord. And then I also got First Blood for that Razorback right there. And then, of course, he has Linebreaker and my objective, so that's 4 points for him. So it's a Necron victory, and as you can tell, it's getting dark out now, so it's about perfect timing. And thanks for watching. We'll be back next time.